Boom. Here we go. What a day it is. I'll tell you why. Big day.
Let's get started.
It is Wednesday, January 22nd, right? Is that right? Is it the 22nd? It is Wednesday, January 22nd. Thank you all for being here on another episode of Live. Didn't have the correct mic, but here we go. Live with Chris's World. Thank you all for being here and tuned in. Glad to have you. We've got a lot to discuss. It is a big day. The show returns to YouTube. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up button, like, share with a friend, drop a comment. I would really appreciate it. And of course, this show, as always, airing on X and on Rumble. Live with Chris's World every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got a big show for you, of course, here on X, on Twitter as well. A lot of topics. Let's get right into this rundown. Here's what we're talking about. So what we got going on tonight, we got President Trump starting the External Revenue Service, considering moving federal income tax, a $500 billion investment into the Stargate Project. This is really big stuff. Wait until you hear about this. Investment in artificial intelligence. Trump posts about peace in regards to Ukraine and Russia. We need to work on a settlement, he says. Tom Homan came out today, says there's already been over 300 arrests made by ICE. They're not wasting any time. That radical bishop that we saw scolding Donald Trump yesterday, yes, she took to The View today to explain herself, of all places. Doctors warn of TikTok withdrawal symptoms. Like, people are actually having withdrawals from TikTok as if it was a drug or something. Is it, though? I mean, like, does social media end up becoming a drug with raising dopamine level? I mean, I guess maybe I could see, but still, don't be a softie. Just because TikTok's gone, what do you go into your doctor, increasing your, what do you call it? Give me more Xanax, please. TikTok is gone. All crossings and ports of entry into the United States have been officially closed. The Taliban refused demands from Donald Trump to return that military equipment that was left there by Joe Biden. We'll talk about that. Doge releases spending and savings live updates. So the United States total debt amount, how much we're spending, how much we're saving by the second. It's pretty cool. These numbers are moving so fast. Wait until you see it. We'll talk about the executive orders a little bit. Trump institutes a one flag policy. Joe Biden left Donald Trump a presidential letter in the desk of the Oval Office, as that is tradition for presidents to do when they pass off power. This was a embarrassingly this wasn't a long letter. Typically, they could be several paragraphs long. This was a couple of sentences, but it's Joe Biden. Who's surprised? Nobody. We've got a big show for you tonight. Live with Chris's World every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for being here. Would appreciate your help in assisting with getting this program out there. So if you have any friends, family, coworkers, anybody that you know that would enjoy these topics, send it over to them, and I would love to have them watching. This show begins right now. All right, so here's what we're going to do first. We're going to take a quick look at some of the executive orders that were signed by Donald Trump. We'll take a look at about 10 of them here. So this is the Free Voice Media newsletter. It goes out every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Take a look. You could subscribe to it easily by the bio in my X page or my X profile. There's a direct link that says Free Voice Media newsletter. Check it out. It's 100% free to be subscribed. Would love to have you subscribe. But in here, we've got one of these topics that we're going to discuss in regards to these executive orders. So we've got the top 10 here. Top 10 executive orders. So let's go ahead and take a look. National emergency at the southern border. Donald Trump declares a national emergency to address what he perceives as his ongoing, as what he perceives. This is not what he perceives. Absolutely what it is, an ongoing crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. This order aims to enhance border security measures, including potentially deploying more troops, resuming construction of the border wall. Why is it good? It underscores a conservative commitment to national sovereignty and security, aiming to reduce illegal immigration, combat drug trafficking, and protect American jobs. This move is seen as reinforcing the America First by prioritizing border control. Look, there is absolutely, people say, oh, you know what? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I got somebody who said that to me today. They called me disgusting. And it's one of many people that call me disgusting on a daily basis, because this is what liberals do. What I would say is, if you're emotional about the border, why don't you tell that to Lake and Riley's parents? Why don't you tell that to the family of Rachel Marin, Jocelyn Nungari? What about their families? What do you say to their families? Because people want to jump and defend the illegals. How about the thousands of families that have been affected by the behavior of illegals? What do we say to them? Because they're American citizens. Are we not to protect them first? Right? So those are the questions that I would ask to people who want to come to bat for any illegals. It is what it is. There's a long list of people who want to come into this country the right way. If you came in here the wrong way, you're out. Come back in the right way. Get in line. It's not that hard. What else we got? Designation of cartels as terrorist organizations. Again, another great thing here. Why is this such a good thing? Very simple. When you look at the amount of drugs that are pouring in, and maybe they're not being made there in Mexico, like fentanyl, for instance, comes from China, but gets into the United States through that southern border, through the assistance of cartels. The cartels are terrorist organizations. We should go in there and wipe them out ourselves. Our guys are so much more advanced. The only reason you don't is because, God forbid, situations. But you don't think a bunch of our guys would be able to go in there and wipe out the cartel? Bunch of Navy SEALs? Of course they could. We have the most advanced elite personnel in the world. We would take out cartels like that. Is the risk worth the reward, becomes the question. And I personally don't know. I don't have military expertise. I'm not going to throw some opinion out there as if I do. But I know that that is a conversation that we should be having with people that do have the expertise. All right, let's move on and look a little bit at the next executive order, the reversal of transgender protections. Trump has signed an order to remove gender ideology guidance from federal policies, effectively reversing Biden-era protections for transgender individuals in various contexts like military service and federal forms. We got to a point in this country where literally the vice presidential candidate, one of them, Tim, we called him Tampon Tim. I mean, that wasn't a joke. In Minnesota, all federal buildings have to have tampons in men's bathroom. Like that wasn't just made up. This is why we call him Tampon Tim Walz. That's how crazy things got. You want to live in a world where you have to raise a son and then explain to him why there's tampons in the bathroom? If you're some transgender that needs a tampon, put it in your fucking bag and bring it with you. We're not going to be sticking tampon dispensers on walls in men's bathrooms, okay? Like, come on. We're done with the crazy. There's a term that has been used a lot in the last 3 days. Donald Trump's been saying it. Republican conservatives of all kind have been saying this word. Common sense. Common sense. You want to know about what you can expect in the next 4 years? Common sense, a whole lot of it. 2 genders. 2. We're not going to glorify mental illness any longer. Mental illness. Yes, mental illness. The correlation between transgenders and mental illness. Look up some of that data. Pull it from wherever you get your data. Ask AI, pull some data. Get some data. I'm telling you what you're going to find. You're going to say, wow. How many percentage of transgenders have attempted to commit suicide? Damn. 30%? Wow. That's a big number. Or more. Guys, this is what, we'll move on from the transgender stuff. I don't want to go too crazy on that. Let's talk about some more. The termination of DEI programs. They had until 5 o'clock yesterday. A lot of people were put on paid leave. It's paid for now, but at least they're out. You can't just drop people and cut them of pay with the snap of a finger, of course, right? Because then there would be lawsuits. But you get them out of the office, pay them for a little bit, and then let them go, whatever. I don't care. Just get them out of the office. Get them out of any authoritative position. Do we have to pay them for 2 months? I don't care. Give them a severance, fine. Just get them out of an office. We don't need them making rules or messing shit up. Get them out. Get them out. This is great. Termination of DEI. Why is it good? Conservatives argue that these programs often lead to the reverse discrimination and prioritize identity over merit. Eliminating them is seen as promoting a merit-based society where everyone has equal opportunities based on ability and not identity. Big time. This is what we're talking about. So we went through about 4 of them there. There are 10 executive orders that I highlight in the Free Voice Media newsletter. So if you want to go through some of the other ones and get the description and the analysis, please check it out. The Free Voice Media newsletter is going to be where you can find it. And you can find the Free Voice Media newsletter right here on my X page. You'll see it says Free Voice Media newsletter. So right when you click that, it'll take you into it. Definitely check it out. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about what we have going on. So let's get to the $500 billion investment that is being made into the United States. So $500 billion investment into the United States, the Stargate Project. Let's see what we have here. President Trump has launched the Stargate Project, a massive $500 billion investment aimed at revolutionizing AI infrastructure within the United States, promising to create thousands of jobs and enhance national technological capabilities. The goals, the project focuses on developing AI technology, infrastructure, and job opportunities, created job opportunities, expected to create 1,000 jobs immediately, a minimum of that. So, yeah, we got really good stuff here. This is awesome. Let's take a look at this post and this video coming from the account of Charlie Kirk. See if we can get some more.
It's my honor to welcome 3 of the world's leading technology CEOs. And in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. He's sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money.
You know, he's rattling off these names here. Trump spoke a lot about being a president of unity, a unifier, being that, bringing Democrats and Republicans both to the table, and then outside of politics too, economically, in a societal sense. Take a look at the names he's mentioning, these tech giants. Look at the three big CEOs that he brought together: Zuckerberg, Bezos, Musk, and more in that room, Dana White, others, all coming together. But in regards to this, why is it that anybody can make an explanation for me? Why should the United States not be trying to lead the way with technology, trying to lead the way with artificial intelligence, trying to lead the way with crypto, blockchain, metaverse, smart contract platforms? Why are we not trying to lead the way in these areas? This is the future. It's funny because the conservatives are the ones who want to progress technologically, lead the way, be groundbreakers. But the Democrats want to concern and say, oh, no, we're not getting involved. We'll hire our 88 IRS agents to come after the people. We'll get a little more revenue that way. We won't work to create more revenue. No. We'll just go after our own citizens. That seems to be what the Democrat way of thinking is. Right? So let's talk a little more. We've got the External Revenue Service, the ERS, the External Revenue Service. So hold on, give me a second to get this pulled up. We'll get this External Revenue Service. So here's the post. We'll read a little bit about it. So President Trump is considering abolishing the federal income tax, with the driving factor being the External Revenue Service, a new government agency aimed at collecting tariffs, duties, and other revenues from foreign sources. So the ERS aims to shift the revenue collection from domestic income taxes to tariffs on imports, aligning with Trump's campaign promises to reduce the tax burden on America. So we do have here a little bit of pushback. So let's see, some legal hurdles. Creating a new federal agency requires congressional approval, which Trump's party currently holds in both chambers. Okay, so I guess we have our majority, of course, in the House and in the Senate, but it looks like we may need to get the approval from both. So economic impact. Critics argue that replacing income tax with tariffs could increase costs for consumers and may not generate the required revenue, potentially leading to higher deficits. I don't know about that. Here's why I don't know about that. I'll give you a real simple answer. We're talking about supply and demand, economics, right? The basis of economics, supply and demand. What's the most powerful thing on the planet? The United States consumer market. Our consumers here in America are the most powerful thing on the planet. Now, Donald Trump knows that. Xi Jinping knows that. Everybody knows that. If you're smart, of course. That's why Donald Trump knows these guys are smart. He says it. He's, hey, to run a country like Russia or China or where, you got to be smart. These guys are smart. They all know without the consumer market in the United States, they're fucked. They need it. For that reason is why tariffs will work. Because they need us much more than we need them. Because people say, well, what would happen is China will just say, we're not selling to you anymore. That would force America to have to now make those goods at a higher at a higher wage cost, higher overhead costs, higher expense costs. Those costs get passed down to the consumer where, okay, because of Trump's implementations, now costs have been passed down to the consumer. But that's just a fairy tale. You know why it's a fairy tale is because China would not say, we're not selling to you anymore. They'll take the 100% tariff and they'll figure it out. And it won't be 100%. But whatever it is, they'll take the hit. They'll say, that sucks, but we still got to sell them. So that's why this would work. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Like these people on TV, they over-contextualize the situation. They add exteriors that are just really not needed for the conversation. This conversation, the nut and bolts, the meat and potatoes is supply and demand. There is nothing more powerful than the United States consumer, period, end of story. That's why this will work. Very easy, in my opinion, to talk about. All right. We'll move on. We'll move on to another topic. This Ukraine war, this thing has got to end, right? The Russian-Ukraine war. Let's see if we can get this. Donald Trump put out a post today on Russia and Ukraine, basically saying, look, we've got to reach a deal here. We've got to reach some sort of settlement because this cannot happen any longer. So here's the post coming from Donald Trump. I'm not looking to hurt Russia. I love the Russian people and always had a very good relationship with President Putin. Despite the radical left's Russia hoax, we must never forget that Russia helped us win the Second World War, losing almost 60 million lives in the process. All of that being said, I'm going to do Russia, whose economy is failing, and President Putin a very big favor. Okay, settle now and stop doing this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse. If we don't make a deal and soon, I have no other choice but to put high level of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions on anything sold by Russia to the United States and various other participating countries. Let's get this war, which never should have started if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way. And the easy way is always better. It's time to make a deal. No more lives should be lost. Post coming from Donald Trump. Powerful stuff right there. This war should have never happened. You know, Democrats will say, they'll go to the Russia thing. Oh, Trump's in Putin's back pocket. Well, in, what was it, 2016 or 14, maybe 2014, I think it was, when Russia invaded Crimea, initially starting the invasion into Ukraine. Shortly after that, Donald Trump comes into office. Not only was there no more progress in that invasion, there were no new wars started across the whole entire globe between 2016 and 2020. After Donald Trump leaves office, the invasion continues further into Ukraine under Joe Biden. So riddle me this then, Batman. Wouldn't you figure if Donald Trump is in the pocket of Putin during Trump's presidency, that is when they would make the most progress, right? Like, that's what you would say, right? And that's not what happened. Another thing, who did Putin endorse for president? Not Donald Trump. Oh, he's just trolling. He's trolling. Okay. Sure. Yeah, he's trolling. When Trump's putting out posts like that, why would Putin endorse Donald Trump? 3 days of Donald Trump in office, Putin's getting put on notice. He's been invading Ukraine for years. Biden never, ever put Putin on notice, like directing a message directly to him publicly. Biden should have done this a long time ago. But instead, he stood up there with a Ukrainian flag on his chest, pinned to his suit, and that was about as far as it gone. He collects the kickbacks. The military and military industrial complex, they get all those kickbacks, right? We're sending money to Ukraine. Ukraine then uses our people for weapons, i.e., money coming back to the military industrial complex. Wait, the circle goes round and round. Yes, it does. Trump is right. They've got to reach a deal. Otherwise, it's time to pay the price. Good. Love it. All right, what else do we have here? We got the border stuff coming up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take a minute or two. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the border. All crossings and ports of entry into the United States have been closed. Tom Homan reports on deportations or arrests, rather, that have already occurred by ICE, over 300 already. So we're getting to work here. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we return from the break. Do not go anywhere.
You're tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World, only on X.
What's up, everyone? First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in to another live episode of Live with Chris's World. And I want to let you all know about a new exciting opportunity that we have for the audience. So if you're a patriot who's looking to get on camera and be on a podcast, well, here at Live with Chris's World, we want to give you that opportunity. So look, at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than having the conversations and talking about the issues. So I am personally extending an invitation to any patriot listening to this right now that wants to come share their thoughts, their takes, their opinion on a political current event on Live with Chris's World. All you got to do is follow me, shoot me a DM, a direct message, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Look, America has never been as divided as it is right now. So for all my fellow patriots out there looking to make an impact and participate with saving America, boy, do I have a suggestion for you. Go over and check out my good friends at Turning Point Action. You have to see their coalitions. If you're somebody who is passionate about saving this country but don't necessarily know where to begin, this is your go-to spot, and I guarantee you will find a coalition that aligns with who you are and your interests. Look, we all know Turning Point Action does great work, and they're one of the main reasons that the America First movement is as strong as it is. So again, if you're looking for a way to participate, be sure to check out Turning Point Action coalitions and join one today. Look, America has never been as divided as it is right now. So for all my fellow patriots out there looking to make an impact and participate with saving America, boy, do I have a suggestion for you. Go over and check.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about this border. We got 300 already arrested by ICE. So we're not wasting any time here, as we shouldn't. We're trying to get results immediately. And it looks like we are. So Tom Homan, here's Tom Homan this morning talking about ICE agents getting to work.
Let's talk about ICE visiting folks, because when I look at it, I look at the law, people that have final deportation orders, people that are criminal aliens. What would a person have to do to get a visit from ICE?
For it to be in the country illegally, first of all, I mean, there's nothing in the immigration law that says you got to be convicted of a serious crime to be removed under the INA. So if you're in the country illegally, ICE can visit you. But right now, as we said repeatedly, and the President Trump's been clear, we're concentrating on the worst first, the public safety threats and national security threats. And just yesterday, in the last 24 hours, ICE arrested over 308 serious criminals. Some of them were murderers. Some of them were rapists. Some of them raped a child. Some were sexual assault of a child. So ICE is doing their job, and they're prioritizing just as the president said they would. So the ICE is performing excellent right now out in the field, and they're going to continue every day.
Let's talk about ICE visiting folks because
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is what had to happen. This is what the people voted for. When I say that I'm sorry, I'm not actually sorry. I'm just sorry that you're emotional about it if you are. People gave Trump a mandate. He's got the Senate. He's got the House, won the presidency. Look, all crossings and ports of entry into the United States have been closed in an unprecedented move. All U.S. border crossings and ports of entry have been temporarily closed. So this is what we needed to happen. People talk about a disruption in the supply chain. No, there's not going to be. This administration knows what they're doing. They've got it covered. And until you see a problem, how about you sit there, watch them go to work, and report back to us in 30 to 60 days. 3 days, the amount of executive orders that have been signed, I believe over 100, maybe even 2. 3 days. We're getting to work. It's beautiful stuff. Really, it truly is. So we've got, what else we have here? 17. So, okay, this is good too, to know. I found this to be a very interesting fact. So we're actually going to be using, believe it or not, military planes to start this deportation and to carry out this deportation. Trump orders 1,500. Okay, that's on the plane. This is different, but it's still on the border. 1,500 active duty troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. Do you think we need troops down there? Hell yes. Yes. 10 million people in 4 years. That's what they say. It doesn't include the gotaways, the unknowns. Could be double, could be 20 million. We have a problem at the border. Send our guys down there. We'll seal it. And when it's no longer a problem, we will not need guys down there. Let's build the wall. We won't need guys down there. Have very strict rules. We won't need guys down there. Enforcement of the rules. We won't need guys down there. But for right now, until that issue is resolved, we need guys down there. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. But the military aircraft will be used for deportations. If I could find this here, we could pull it up, but I'm not sure if we've got it quickly. It doesn't look like we do. So we'll move on here. The Spanish White House page is gone. The Spanish White House page is gone. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. The Spanish White House page not found. Look at it. Page not found. Community note, this image is modified. It says go to home page, not go home. Okay, so the page is still up. This is accurate. It just says go to home page, not go home. Good. If you can't understand the English, translate it with Google or come in the right way. Learn the language. Ask a friend to translate it for you. But we're not going to make it super easy anymore. It's not going to be a walk in the park. You gotta work for it. It's just common sense to me. So I didn't know that this happened with the Taliban. This is interesting stuff. I don't know if anybody in the live chats on Rumble or on X, if you guys saw this, let me know. I'd be curious. But this is coming from Benny Johnson, who, of course, is very reputable. The Taliban has refused. Oh my God. The Taliban has refused President Trump's demand. Check this out. to return the $7 billion in U.S. military equipment that they seized during the withdrawal back in 2024. Benny says FAFO. If you don't know what FAFO is, it means fuck around, find out. So those boys over there in the Middle East, man, it is tough because you don't want to be Donald Trump. He gets put in a tough position because Donald Trump has the balls to pull the trigger, no pun intended, but to, hit the button and say go. He has the balls. He'll say it to other leaders' faces. These are qualities that Obama didn't have. These are qualities that Biden didn't have. Bush didn't have. However, you ran on being a peace president. You want to be a peace president. You don't want to be a president that takes a conflict and multiplies the severity of it. So he does get caught in a tough situation. Now, I have full confidence in this administration and in this president to make the right moves. But I would imagine that the discussions that they're having behind closed doors very much are weighted that way. Like, hey, what do we want to do here? Because we have the balls, the capability, and the intel to take out this threat if need be. But, however, do we really want to fire shots and initiate this whole thing? So with the Taliban, you're probably not going to see any I would imagine Trump, he has to throw it out there, give us back our stuff. And I don't blame him for doing it. I would say it too if I was elected into president. Joe Biden just, go ahead, have it. $7 billion of new equipment. It's yours. Then they end up selling all this equipment to other terrorist organizations. That's quite actually literally what happened. But I don't know how far that will go, honestly. Like, they said no. What are we going to send troops in there? Probably not, right? We're not going to go back to Afghanistan. So at that point, I don't know, maybe sanction. I don't know. I'm not sure what would happen. But certainly anybody that works with the Taliban would be heavily sanctioned. Heavily sanctioned. If they should be already. Wait, like anybody in that same thing, like Iran, for instance, anybody working with Iran needs to be heavily sanctioned. You're not doing business with America if you're doing business with them. That's how that needs to go. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back in about a minute. Joe Biden left a note, a letter. It is tradition for the outgoing president to leave a note for the incoming president in the desk of the Oval Office. We've got that note, and we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We will be right back.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says,
So Joe Biden leaves the traditional note in the desk of the Oval Office for Donald Trump. Let's give it a read. So President Trump, as I leave this sacred office, I wish you and your family all the best in the next 4 years. The American people and the people around the world look to this house for steadiness in the inevitable storms of history. And my prayer is that in the coming years, this will be a time of prosperity, peace, and grace for our nation. May God bless you and guide you as he has blessed and guided our beloved country since our founding. Joe Biden, 1/20/2025. Honestly, well said. Well said, Joe, if you even wrote it. But I mean, as short as it might be, very short, that's probably the best written piece of material that we have heard out of Joe Biden if he spoke it or wrote it himself in 4 years. You know, Biden ran on being a guy. If you got a missing seat at your kitchen table, so do I. I know how you feel. I'm going to unify this nation. And he did exactly the opposite. Joe Biden, in the sense of legislation and policy, one of the worst presidents, if not the worst president. It's really hard to overlook Jimmy Carter and all that, you know, Iranian hostage crisis, gas shortages, giving away the Panama Canal. I mean, Jimmy Carter might have been a good man, but holy crap, you know, Biden, though, really bad. It's just nice, though, you know, kind of to zip this whole thing up. We have such an opportunity right now to change the world, to change the future, to change our own lives. Like if you're somebody, for instance, like myself, I feel like vindicated, like I like the world is your oyster right now. 2 years ago, if I said the word COVID on YouTube, my show would have been taken off. That's why I've never been on YouTube. Tonight's the first night I'm back on YouTube. But the playing field has been leveled for conservatives. If you've got a business, if you're an employee and you go out and you speak about conservative ideas and ideology on Facebook, prior to this year, in the last couple of months, you were scared to do it. It's not the case anymore. It's not the case anymore. Playing field has been leveled. Be an opportunist. And I know that has a negative connotation to it, but be an opportunist. Somebody who is saying yes to opportunities that potentially lead to very positive outcomes. Network, talk to people. Be somebody who doesn't let this 4 years go. Because who knows? We may never get an opportunity like this again. A Democrat could come in office, start signing executive orders, and wipe all this out. So be somebody who really takes advantage of these opportunities. So Trump has also implemented a one flag policy. Get a load of this. Let's see if we could get this up here pretty quick. We can. We've got it right here. Booyah. One flag policy. President Trump announces a one flag policy banning LGBTQ flags, BLM flags from flying at the U.S. output. So this is what I'm talking about. Why at schools, for instance, why should kids, when they say the Pledge of Allegiance, be looking at the American flag, a BLM flag, a transgender flag, a pride flag? I'm not saying that you can't be any of those things. What I'm saying is when it comes to school, curriculum, education, we're going to take all these political flags out of it. You didn't grow up with those flags in your classroom 25 years ago. They weren't there. and you still became somebody that's gay or trans or BLM or whatever it might be, you, without those flags in your classroom, still ended up the way that you are. What I'm trying to say is that the flags are not a requirement to become the type of person that those people became, because they became those people without flags in their classrooms. So what I'm saying is eliminate the fucking flags. One flag, the United States of America, and that's it. This isn't a hard concept to understand, is it? I mean, maybe and this, I'm not saying black lives don't matter. Black lives matter. Sir, of course. Yes. All lives matter. Not just black lives, not just Asian lives, Latino lives, not just white lives. All lives matter. You kidding me? But this is good. President Trump introduced a policy allowing only the United States flag to be flown at federal buildings, aiming for a united national symbol. It's great. People want to say, oh, it's a threat on free speech. No, it's not. You want to know why it's not a threat on free speech? Because that flag gives you the right to have it. That flag gives you the right to have your free speech. Without that damn flag, you don't have free speech. That flag comes first. Threat on free speech. My ass. That flag is the only reason you have what you have. Our military is the only reason that you have what you have. So, all right, we'll move down the list here a little bit. Let's talk about this bishop and kind of end things with the radical bishop. Donald Trump yesterday, there's this tradition. You go to this ceremony. I don't even know what you would call it necessarily, but here this lady, Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd. And here she is, by the way. Like, actually, here this lady is shitting on Trump. This is
a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who have been under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people, mostly half my age.
Hey, I just want to point out that she has not one, but two masks on. Check that out. She's got two masks on. You could see the one and then the other. That's crazy.
You're younger. They're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Thank you.
That's the bishop. She had no business leading a sermon or a ceremony with Donald Trump in the room. Absolutely no business doing that. In June of 2020, rioters in D.C. had just set fire to her church, a church that she oversees. This post here coming from Maze Moore.
Department, in responding to just moments before, said that he would take.
You told the Washington Post yesterday, and I'm quoting, everything this president has said and done is to inflame violence. We need moral leadership, and he's done everything to divide us. Is there any way to begin to heal this breach that you're describing?
Well, we see examples of people attempting that across the country. The police officials and officers who are moving into the crowds to speak to them, the people who are acknowledging pain and seeking to make fundamental change for the good of the nation.
So look, here's the deal with this bishop, this preacher, I don't know what you call her. It was an absolute embarrassment the way that she drug politics into Christianity yesterday, but it's a good thing that it happened, because what you got was a full display of leftist ideology and the disregard even for the word of God and the Holy Spirit. She, somebody who's devoted her whole life, couldn't even for one moment just focus on the Holy Spirit and the good of the country, wishing this man luck. There's been 2 assassination attempts on her life. She had such an opportunity to display to the world the Christian faith and how it doesn't see through politics. It doesn't see color. It's the word of God. She didn't do that. She failed at that. But it's nice that everybody saw it, because now they know. Leftists, even those who preach the word of God but are leftists, are nuts. Sad. This woman, she had a really good chance to display Christianity in such a positive light. But she didn't. She chose another route. It's a damn shame. All right, we're going to wrap this show up here, everybody. Live with Chris's World every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's right. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on X, Rumble, now YouTube as well. So if you enjoy the show, please share it out with a friend, family member, coworker, anybody who likes current events, headlines, news, conservative content. Send them over the show. Would really appreciate it. I'm trying to reach as many like-minded individuals as possible. So I would really appreciate your help with doing that. I'll be back tomorrow night on Thursday night to wrap up the week, close up the week. If you're watching on X, stay on X, the Free Voice Media Network. Kyle will be coming on next. Kyle's Conservative Corner will be coming on next. So get a load of that show. You're not going to want to miss it. It's really good stuff. He was at the inauguration, so I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. But we will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live with Chris's World. Have a blessed rest of your evening, and thank you for being here.